All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about where to get the money to fund your real estate deals. Well, obviously, you've got fund to flip. Because we fund to flip, and it's fun to flip. So anyway, you've got us, of course, to come to, assuming you're on board with the Fast Cash Foreclosures program. So we'll move on past that. Hey, listen, let me just say this, though. Before we talk about where to get the money, let's talk about where not to get the money. Where are we not going to get the money? The banks. Did we talk about when you go there you get a financialoscopy? Did we talk about that? Man, I'll tell you what, if you're self-employed, you are guilty until proven innocent. And not to mention the fact that if you're not a first-time home buyer, good luck. I mean, you go to a bank looking for an 80% loan with an 800 FICO score and all kinds of income and assets, you may still not get the loan. They're not lending. So we're going to stay out of the bank. In fact, when it comes to dealing with banks, it's really very simple. Just don't. All right, so we've already talked about this. We'll move on. Let's talk about partners. Let's talk about money partners. I got my start with money partners. I mentioned my first money partner's name was Russ Herbasek the other day. And great guy. And the way we did it was he put up all the money and I did the work. Now, if you're going to flip a junker REO wholesale, do you need a money partner? No, you've got me. I only need a couple points. You don't need to give up half the profit for the money to use the money for a day or a few days. That's crazy. But most people do. I think a lot of people expect to split the profit on deals when that's the only way they think they can get the money. But now, splitting the profit with a partner who's there to, kind of show you the ropes, that's different. That's different. We're talking about money partners here. So, which type of exit strategy do you think would be the most appropriate for, or would be the one where we'd bring in a money partner? Fix and sell. Fix and sell. If we're not going to fix and sell, we don't need long-term money. We don't need a partner. But it's worth talking about. Russ and I did this. He was my money partner for a number of years. We did a lot of deals together. I located, negotiated, managed the process, the rehab, and got the thing sold. He put up the money, and it was a great arrangement. I didn't have the money. He did. He didn't have the energy. I did. So it was a match made in heaven. So let's just take a look at a typical deal, how this would play out. You got a $200,000 after repair value, $30,000 in repairs, $6,000 in purchase and holding costs. Now these are I probably should have pulled a deal out of a file, but these are hypothetical numbers, although they're very realistic. Our purchase price, we'll say, was $105,000. Now, what would be our maximum purchase price on this? That was quick. You're good. 65 times 2 is 130 minus 30 is 100. We agreed to pay a little bit more than the maximum purchase price on this one, didn't we? How come that's okay here? We're going to fix and sell it. We're not wholesaling it. So we could pay as much as that 70 cents on the dollar minus repairs figure and still be okay. So we got it for a little less than that. What if you've got a house that you've made an offer on? It's a great house. It's in a great area. You know it'll sell quickly. And the seller says no. They keep inching you up. And now you get to the maximum purchase price and they're still saying no. Could you rethink your exit strategy, decide to fix it, and come up a little more? Yes, you could. Yes, you could. So we've got $200,000 after repairs, $30,000 in repairs, $6,000 in purchase and holding costs. That's closing costs, utilities while we hold it, that sort of thing. When we're dealing with a partner, we're not paying interest on the money. It's a split of the profit, so there is no interest payment, so to speak. And we have a $105,000 purchase price. And then figuring $10,000 in closing costs between marketing, and maybe we sell it with a realtor, or maybe we don't, but instead of selling with a realtor, we find a buyer and we've got to pay some closing costs for the buyer because that's the only way we can get it sold to an entry-level buyer. How many of you have ever sold a house you rehabbed to an entry-level buyer? Let me see your hands. Did you pay their closing costs? You didn't. Did you? You didn't? You did? You did? You did? You did? It's very common to do that. But what do you do to offset that? Raise the price. That's right. They'll call that a buyer concession. Yeah, they'll eat it up. They don't mind. So this leaves us a net profit of $49,000. You take your $200,000 and you subtract all your expenses out, it leaves $49,000, which is a little over the 20% of this. Remember, after repair value times 70% minus repairs equals what our buyer will likely want to pay, or what we could pay if we were going to rehab it. 20% of that 30% is profit. So we've actually done a little better. And we go ahead and we split it 50-50 between ourselves and the partner. Partner gets $24,500, you get $24,500. The partner put up $141,000 to make this work. Where did I get that? Well, they put up $105,000 to purchase, $30,000 to repairs, $135,000, plus $6,000 in purchase and holding costs is $141,000. Hold it, what about this? Well, most of that will come out of the proceeds from the sale. So you probably won't need much of this in cash at all, that $10,000 in selling costs. Okay, so I'm figuring the partner puts up plus or minus $141,000. We may need a little of this, so it's somewhere in that vicinity. Very common. So the partner gets $24,500 return on his or her investment. You get $24,500 return on your investment. The partner's investment is money, your investment is time. Is that fair? That's fair. If you don't have the money and you have nowhere else to get the money, is this extremely fair? You know, if you look at it though, if cost versus availability is a pretty big issue. The cost of money becomes completely irrelevant when you have availability nowhere else. So you might say, gee, Cam, if you fund a deal for me for a week, 4 points plus 10% interest and 30 days prepayment penalties, kind of steep. And I would say, well, then get it from somewhere else if it's cheaper. And you say, well, I don't have anywhere else to go. And then I'd say, well, then shut up. The cost is irrelevant. Look, if you have the money sitting in the bank and you can fund the deal yourself, do you need to pay me to fund it? No. There's a case where you have additional availability, and the cost does matter.